How's it going, everybody? Fernando, the Lone Star Halo, joined here by Cowboy Vince. He's going to be here shortly. We are here to talk about this week's hot take. And of course, we're going to talk a little bit about the MLB All-Star Game. All that and more coming up after this.
Texas plains, hot takes flying, riding off the reins. Lone Star Halo, Cowboy Vince, calling it bold, never on the fence. Hoedown time, turn it up loud, hot takes are ringing, drawing a crowd. No matter how wild, no matter how strange, ain't no limit on the takes we say.
Hey, howdy, hey, and welcome to this week's All-Star Game episode of the Halo Hot Take Hoedown. My name, as I said, is Fernando, the Lone Star Halo, joined here by Vince, the Angels Cowboy. Vince, welcome back as always. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Well, we're at the halfway point of the MLB season. Of course, the All-Star break, something I look forward to a lot. And this year, man, I was really impressed by this All-Star game. I can't wait to talk about it. I mean, from the Home Run Derby being pretty exciting, and of course the All-Star game making history. Let's put it that way. And man, I kept talking about it for at least a year. I would love to go to the All-Star game in Atlanta, but unfortunately things didn't work out. And hey, I dug one out. I've had this shirt since I bought it in 2010. I rarely wear it, only on special occasions. This happens to be a special occasion.
Yeah. All-Star Game is always something I look forward to every single year. You know, is it one of those silly little things? Absolutely, but it's fun. I think it's truly the only All-Star Game in professional sports that's worth watching. You know, the football Pro Bowl is an absolute joke. It's by far the worst one. I mean, it's so bad, it's literally a flag football game. And, you know, that's not to blame the players, right? You know, it's literally at the end of all of their seasons. Could you imagine getting hurt and then having to recover the off season instead of, you know, truly spending good, meaningful time with your family because you played in a meaningless exhibition game? So I'm not going to fault the players, but it doesn't change the fact that it's boring, right? Yeah, they do like the dodgeball game and, you know, they do like the precision passing and all that. That makes it a little bit cooler for that kind of stuff. But the game itself sucks. Basketball, the NBA All-Star Game is pretty boring. They don't play defense. Let's see. The dunk contest is what it is. I prefer the three-point shooting. The dunk contest, they're just really not doing too much else. At this point, it's like variations of the same tricks. And it's not that it's not impressive. I can't dunk. I can get close, but I can't dunk. So I'll tip my cap to them for even being able to do it. But, you know, I'm also not a giant basketball guy, so that kind of hurts it. NHL, the Four Nations tournament, is by far the best, but that's not an All-Star game, is it? If we're talking about the actual NHL All-Star game, they tried the 3-on-3 thing, and yeah, it's fun. But it just pales in comparison to the MLB All-Star Game. There's just something really, really cool about it. They finally got it right by letting the players wear their own team's uniforms again. That's a great touch. You know, have them wear the All-Star hat. Great. And just have them in their uniforms. Love that that's back to the way it should be. You know, they can wear the batting practice uniforms during the Home Run Derby, which is exactly what it is, right? It's batting practice. And, man, oh, man, Vince, there's just something special about the Home Run Derby. It's fun, especially if you ever get a chance to go in person. It is just, you can't beat it in person. It's super fun.
Yeah, I wish I would have been there back in 2010. It would have been a sweet situation to just try to catch home runs if you got those seats. And I mean, from what I've seen, is that the most expensive seats are the home run territory. So, and it makes sense because everybody wants to be there. They want to try to snag one. And then you look at behind home plate, of course, it's going to be the lowest one, or in the upper deck, obviously, because you're not going to be able to catch anything. There's rarely any foul balls that are hit. But the home run derby, I think it is just as competitive as any of the competitions they have in the other sports. I mean, it's neck and neck with the slam dunk contest for sure. But the thing about the slam dunk contest, it's not more competitive. It's more about creativity. I think that's what separates it from the MLB. MLB, you can't be creative. The only thing you can do creatively is like, oh, maybe like you do you pull a Savannah Bananas and you do a dance before you hit a home run kind of thing. That's what would add creativity. Maybe the Bananas will do something like that. That'd be pretty nice, or even the Tailgaters. But MLB, of course, is not going to do that. But yeah, the slam dunk contest is all about creativity. Who knows who can dunk a ball off the rim or off a ricochet, just anything like that. Home run derbies, no, it's just raw power. It's just raw talent, and you got to be a special type of player. And there's also the big debate. It's been popping up for the last few days. Do you prefer the old format or the new format? I'm just going to throw it out there. I love the new format. The clock is so much better, in my opinion. I know there's a lot of drama in the 10 outs that we grew up on during the Chris Berman days. Yeah, there's drama.
Back. Those days.
Exactly. And we missed those. Now it's all about launch angle of this. Like, who cares about launch angle? We just want to see how far that thing went. Okay. But I like the timer because I'm more about quality over quantity. Yeah, it's great. You can hit a ball 450 feet to 500 feet. That's cool. But at the same time, you probably that guy who probably can hit it that far, sometimes he hits like 3 home runs and he disappoints us. Like I remember Sammy Sosa in the home run derby in 2004. Man, I was expecting him to hit at least 10 because he could do it. He only hit 3 in that home run derby. It was disappointing.
Just like Jazz Chisholm.
Yeah, and now you see Jazz Chisholm, who only hit 3, and he could have hit multiple, but Jazz forgot that he wasn't hitting in Yankee Stadium. That's why he had a bad round. So, but yeah, I like quality. I like hitting multiple home runs because when we did have the 10-out system, a lot of guys were taking pitches right down the middle, and then they were swinging at bad ones. They were popping it up. They were hitting it to the right side. They were hitting line drives. They were hitting ground balls, and it's just like, dude, you should have swung at the pitch prior. And what I've noticed is whenever you have the timer, and then I've noticed that the BP coaches, they're peppering the ball super quick. And I've noticed when you have pitchers who like work fast, they leave pitches in the zone. Whereas pitchers who take their time, like before we had the pitch clock, the pitchers who took their time, they knew how to locate because they relaxed, they stayed calm. That's the same thing with batting practice. When you put time into the box in between pitches, that gives the pitcher time to like kind of lollygag a little bit, and next thing you know, they don't throw a good pitch because they took too much time. Whereas if you're quick, you're getting those strikes, and a lot of hitters prefer that. And yeah, I mean, I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I'm sticking with it. I prefer quality over quantity. I prefer quantity over quality. Thank you.
I like the time clock better. I liked it because now there's a timer and there's a pitch limit. I liked it when it was strictly the timer because here's the thing: there's no buzzer beaters in baseball. So the fact that for one day a year there was an opportunity for a buzzer beater, that's what made it exciting. That's what made it fun. Last year I was here in person in Arlington for the home run derby, and I didn't because that was the first year where they did it where like there was no brackets, right? Like everybody went, they took the best 4. I didn't like it last year because I liked that there was a bracket system at first. Then last year, bad taste in my mouth. And then I watched it this year, and I was like, you know what? I think it's better this way. Because then you don't get some guy that gets skimped, right? Because what if you and I are going at it, right? And you got only 3, and I hit 4. Now I have to hit 4. Do I really deserve to advance, or did I just get lucky because you had a bad round? You know what I mean? And now I'm going to get my cheeks clapped in the next round because somebody who was actually on a roll and deserved to be there, took advantage of the situation. As they should, right? That's what they're there for. So I do kind of like this method now that I've gotten to see it more, but I love it when it was strictly the pitch clock. There was no pitch limits, but if this is how it's going to be, whatever, I can live with it. I just want them to stop changing it. Stop changing it every 2 or 3 years and just kind of roll with it, man. You know what I mean? But the home run derby is fun. the All-Star game is fun. And the biggest reason why MLB has an advantage over the other sports, you can't half-ass play baseball. You can't. You can half-ass play defense in the NBA. You see it all the time. Obviously, they're playing flag football, so that half-ass as it is. Same with the NHL, right? But with baseball, I can't half pitch the ball. You have to throw it. And it kind of benefits the pitchers if they only go like one inning. Because Paul Skeens was throwing like what, 101, 102, because he's going for one inning. Who cares? Just let it rip. And that's kind of the mentality these guys have. You know, the batters are trying to hit. You can't not swing, right? So that's the beauty in baseball and the advantage that baseball will always have over the other sports and their all-star games. You have to play baseball or you're just literally not playing. There's no in between. So, that's the beauty that baseball has built in. And, I will forever like the All-Star game. I think it's a fun thing. I wish they did more with, like, skills competitions. So last year, after the Futures game here in Arlington, they tried it. They did a skills competition for the prospects, and it was kind of interesting. Like, they did a hitting drill where, like, the hitters had to hit it to, like, a specific field. Like, left field. Okay, that's left field's worth 3 points. Center field's worth 2 points. Right field's worth 0. You know what I mean? They would do that. And, I don't remember. They had like a home run one where the same thing. They built like these little targets and you had to hit it over there. If you hit literal circle targets, you got points for that. There was targets on the field, and depending what ring, kind of like bullseye, you got more points for it. It was a great concept, but clearly didn't work out because they didn't do it this year. But I do think they should do more with baseball's All-Star game. I just don't exactly know what that is. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe you think it's perfect and they shouldn't change it.
Sorry, I think I think it is cool to do, like, because you look at the NBA. What are the two? There's mainly two that they put up, and it's it is four, but the main ones that everybody watches are 3-point and slam dunk. The NFL, I mean, during the Pro Bowl before the game, they had like the who has the better accuracy, who can catch the most balls, all that stuff.
Yeah, the tug of war, the dodgeball, yeah.
Yeah, and I think the cool thing, like you mentioned about baseball, like hearing everything you said, translation in one sentence is baseball allows you to showcase why you're an all-star. Case in point, the pitchers. You don't see pitchers throw 102 in the first inning. They like to coast in. Justin Verlander was a perfect example. He didn't clock 100 until he got to the ninth inning. Tarek Skubal's the same way. Paul Skeens is the same way. But since you have one inning, yeah, you're going to let it rip. It makes perfect sense. And then for the hitters, you're trying to put the ball in play. Like, look at if Luis Ariz was an all-star, what's the thing he's going to do? He's not going to try to tag one into right field. He's going to try to hit the ball the opposite way over the shortstop's head. He's going to Tony Gwynn it because that's what he's known for. That's the showcase of his talent. And then if you have guys like Cal Raleigh, obviously he's going to showcase his home run. So he's probably going to try to let it rip. And I think he was for sure in that second inning. Aaron Judge, I think for sure was trying to rip one as well against Paul Skeens because that's a dream matchup right there. You got power versus power. Same thing with Skubal versus Ohtani. That was something to watch. Or number 17. I'm sorry, Fernando. I know you don't like to hear that name, but you get my point. So that's what makes, like you said, baseball is unique and their All-Star game is unique because it's because of the showcase. Could we add more competition? I think if there was a certain competition, maybe involve pitchers. Because we already have a hitting competition with the home run derby. Maybe add one more hitting competition and do just like the can you use the field? Can you hit the ball the opposite way? Line drives or stuff and everything. If you hit a ground ball, you don't get points, but if you hit a line drive into left, you get something out of it. Yeah, like that, because that's a showcase too. There's a lot of guys out there, they can't hit the home runs. Jacob Wilson's not a home run hitter, but guess what? He knows how to put the ball in play. Luis Ariz, another example. He's basically our modern day version of Tony Gwynn. I think the reason why they don't do that is because baseball doesn't want to showcase that. They don't want the old school way of baseball of like, hey, get on base. They want the sexiness of hitting the home run, and they want the casual fan to get involved, basically. And that's why the home run derby is still strong to this day. And Yeah, maybe just add one for the pitchers. I'd say would be like who has the best accuracy. Maybe do like I think would be really nice. I don't think it would be. I don't think it'd be possible. But maybe if you could do it with like plastic or paper, put some plates. You know, like breaking mom's dishes. You know, you don't want to. But I wouldn't say porcelain because you don't want to get all the pieces all over home plate. Then the grounds crew has to clean that all up. So I don't know. Maybe do like some.
Also, you just build like a little like bucket kind of situation, kind of to do at the fair. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it
and
all
then
just goes in a pit.
yeah, and then it works on like your accuracy, and then maybe do like who can throw the fastest pitch. But I think that's not going to happen because of injuries. They don't want to hurt their pitcher, so you're not going to see velocity. I know the NHL has something like that, like who can shoot the fastest puck or the hardest puck into the net. Maybe add something like exit velo, like who can hit the hardest ball. O'Neill Cruz would probably win every single year. So maybe just
I don't know how O'Neill Cruz didn't kill anybody out there.
I'm amazed. You know what? When I first saw him in the list for the home run derby, the first thing I said is like, okay, I hope they pick the right kids to shag balls because he's gonna kill a kid somewhere.
Yeah.
And thankfully he didn't. But I was still worried because I watched those kids. It's fun to see kids are having fun out there, but it's so scary because these are grown men hitting rockets at them. If they're shagging balls against their kids their age, it's no problem. It's like, okay, you know, they get hit in the head. Guess what? It's they just shake it off. They get hit in the head here. Here comes the ambulance.
Yeah. Was it last year that a kid got drilled in the head?
Yeah. It was off Adolis Garcia hit it. And then there was one year, it was in 2021, when Pete Alonso knocked out a kid and they were bumping I forget which singer it was. I think it was like Ja Rule or something. And Alonso was just kept on vibing. It's just like everybody's making jokes thinking like, oh, he's probably thinking right now, it's like, get this kid off the field because I'm on a roll right now. Hurry up. But
he probably just didn't see it. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's true. I mean, but
that's the more likely option.
yeah, exactly. But it was overall fun, and then the game was even better. There's something that history was made. We had the extra inning swing off. That is great for baseball because baseball is not a sport to end in ties. Yep. And you know what? Football shouldn't be either. Maybe football should change something like after, like, say you don't after overtime. Maybe do like a kick competition. You know, like
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, that because soccer has the penalty kicks, but only in championship games. They don't do it in regular games. I think they should incorporate more of that. Hockey with the shootouts. That's why people are attracted to hockey more than soccer because there's somebody's going to come out on top. I think football should do the same thing because football shouldn't end in a tie either. And baseball, with seeing that, I think football should start taking some notes.
Yeah. The other cool thing the NHL does is they have the 3-on-3 overtimes. You know what I mean? So that eliminates it even less. You know what I mean? Because then you have sometimes two defenders and a forward, or that's where the mindset comes in, and the X's and O's. But that's what I like about hockey too. That they have their overtime different, and then if you're lucky enough to see a shootout, that's one of the most exciting things in sports. Shootouts are awesome, but
I get paid to see those, by the way.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you're lucky for that. I remember the very first hockey game I ever went to. I mean, I fell in love with the sport because it ended in a shootout, and I was like, "This is awesome." Even the overtime was like 3-on-3, and one of the Coyotes' sticks broke. So obviously, because you're 3-on-3, you don't have time to switch. So the guy was just sitting up there like playing defense with just his skates because he didn't have a stick, and I'm like, "This is awesome." So, hopefully any casual fans that caught the All-Star game loved the swing off because there was a lot of people. The instant reaction was like, what am I watching? Why is this happening? This is stupid. But I think as it started to set in, a lot of people are, you know what? This is awesome. I immediately thought this was awesome because it's something different. Here's the thing. This game doesn't matter. Who the hell cares? It's an exhibition game, right? None of us died because the NL won, right? So they ended the game in a unique fashion in one of the only situations that this could happen. Now, if this was a regular season game and ended in a swing up, I'd be pissed. Because then I'd be like, okay, this is gimmicky. What is this, the Savannah Bananas? But It's an all-star game. It's for fun. I think it was great. There isn't a lot of smart things that Rob Manfred has done or greenlit, because I don't think this was Rob Manfred's brainchild. But there's not a lot of positive things he's done for baseball in his time here. But this, greenlighting this, good job. Good job for whoever deserves the credit at the MLB headquarters. You deserve a raise.
100%. I mean, we all got glued to it, and guess what? It was a trending topic the next day. And let's not forget the viewership. 7.2 million viewers in the middle of summer, when people could have easily said, no, I'm going to go to the beach, or I'm going to go to Disneyland, or I'm going to go here, there, or Disney World, anywhere that they do all around the country. Said, nope, we're watching baseball because this is summer. This is the definition of summer. 4th of July, what are we watching? We're watching baseball. And then the middle of July, we have the Midsummer Classic. So it's great to see those numbers for sure, that MLB is literally taking over all-star games for sure, at least in the 4 major sports, even though hockey doesn't have theirs. But it's just very nice to see because, like you said, you can't lollygag in baseball. You can't cheat in baseball, or not cheat, but, tone it down. Everyone's trying to win there because bragging rights are more important to the players than trying to you know what? Yeah, I'll let you give a home run. I'll let you hit a home run. Nah, I'm gonna throw 100 right down the middle and see if you can touch it.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. We both like the All-Star game. We talked about it. Yes, the NL did win this year. They haven't won a lot of games in my life, in our lifetime. I mean, I think they've won maybe 5 of the All-Star games in my 30 years on this earth. They haven't won many. It's mostly the AL dominating. So there you go, NL. You finally did it. And it took Kyle Schwarber hitting a home run against a no-name with the Rays.
Yeah.
Didn't get a single home run. That's what it was. Okay, so enough about the All-Star game. Let's talk a little bit about today's topic. Before we do that, quick thank you to our sponsors. And also, let me remind you guys, follow us on our social medias at Halos in the Infield on all social media platforms. While you're at it, follow Vince the Angels Cowboy at Angels_Cowboy. Make sure you give him a follow. Does a lot of fun stuff over there. And while we're at it, thank you to our sponsors, 714 Tickets. Use code HITI, H-I-T-I, at checkout. Shout out to Bruheim. Go over there. Mention Halos in the Infield. The OC Dugout. They are always doing a bunch of Angels signings and stuff of that nature. So if you're interested in that, you can head on over to their website. They always post, or follow them on social media, and they post, who's signing what and all that fun stuff. So definitely give them a look. And then Max Market Pros. If you are a business owner looking to grow the business, well, look no farther than our friends over at Max Market Pros. All right, Vince, we got all of that stuff out of the way. We talked a little bit about the All-Star game, but we're all here for the hot take of this week. Take it away, my friend.
Okay. You and I talked about this for weeks, and it's finally here. Joe Adell is the best center fielder in the American League West. I think people got confused seeing that post on Instagram because they thought we said the best in the American League. No. We broke it down by division. We said in the NL West he's the best. This year, I believe he is. So far, I got the stats right here. The talk of the 2 center fielders of the season in the AL West have been Joe Adell and Julio Rodriguez. This is when everything comes about with the All-Star Game fan voting. Should it be outlawed? Should it stay here? Right now, it's starting to become a popularity contest because Julio Rodriguez was an All-Star over Joe Adell. Now we can compare the stats. Yeah, there are some things that Julio Rodriguez does have the upper hand on. Of course, wins above replacement for the sabermetrics people. But Joe Adell beats Julio in home runs, RBIs, and OPS, which are kind of the big 3 today. In today's game, the big 3 has been those: home runs, RBIs, and OPS. Back in the 90s and the 80s and all like basically before the steroid era or before 2010, because 2010 is when sabermetrics and analytics started kicking in a little bit more. Before that, the big three were average home runs and RBIs. Right now, nobody cares about average. So if that's the case, if you're talking average, Julio Rodriguez is leading with a 252 average compared to Joe Adell's 243. However, with the power numbers, Julio has a 730 OPS. Joe Adell has exactly 800. You would think with an 800 OPS, you are going to get in automatically. And with the type of month that he had in June, you thought he was going to get bonus points. But what was it that made Joe Adell miss the All-Star game? It's the fan voting. The popularity contest started kicking in. Julio Rodriguez is more popular than Joe Adell. Julio Rodriguez is in commercials. I think he's in like a Dairy Queen commercial or something. So more people got to see his face a little bit more. And also he plays in Seattle on a winning club. So with Seattle being in first place and Cal Raleigh getting the recognition right now with this home run chase that he has, Julio Rodriguez is also getting looked at. And on top of that, Julio Rodriguez is also a Rookie of the Year, and he's a 3-time All-Star. Well, was 2 going into this season, so now 3 total thanks to this past year, this past All-Star game. So yeah, the argument makes sense on that Rodriguez is better, but Rodriguez is probably better as a playing career compared to Joe Adell's. Because if you look at career numbers, Rodriguez leads by a landslide. 272 average, 94 home runs, 296 RBIs, 103 stolen bases, 788 OPS in his entire career. Joe Adell, since coming in 2020, 218 average, 57 home runs, 182 RBIs, 25 stolen bases, 683 average. The blemish is, of course, that he hasn't got much playing time. Julio Rodriguez is an everyday center fielder. This is the first year that Joe Adell is an everyday guy, which is giving him a little bit more opportunities, more exposure, and higher numbers this past season. And he's finally finding his stroke that he hadn't had in the past few years. Keep in mind, we're not saying he's the best in all of the American League. We're saying he's the top center fielder in his respective division. But this year, for sure, I agree, because Julio Rodriguez has played multiple games, but he's also had some injuries and he's also had his slumps. That's what's separating the two. Adell had a hot month. You would think with a great month of June, you're going to get into the All-Star game regardless. Not going to happen. But if we use the computers, I for sure believe that Joe Adell is in that All-Star game. Is he starting? No, not necessarily, because there's a lot better center fielders, but he should have been the representative on our team. Yeah, you say Kikuchi, you can give him his flowers, but at the same time, it's kind of one of those token, like, well, he kind of is your best player and like best pitcher on your staff, so you kind of have no choice. And plus, when you're competing against a loaded outfield, that's tough, because Mike Trout didn't get in, and then of course Joe Adell didn't get in, and then Zach Neto, who should have got in too, didn't, because, well, who was at shortstop? Jacob Wilson. Yeah, Jacob Wilson can hit. I think the average is what helped him get to be the starting shortstop. But there should, and Bobby Witt Jr., who's probably gets more recognition because popularity. He is a popular guy. A lot of people know about him, and he's a good all-around player. But unfortunately, nobody gives us love in Anaheim. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just we need to get more love. I think if we start winning a little more, some guys will start making all-star teams.
Yeah, I agree with you. Now, let's dissect a little bit about what you said, because you brought up a lot of good points. You brought up Julio Rodriguez. Now, obviously, the take is that Joe Adell is the best in the AL West. I did check. I put a typo. I did say the best in the American League. That's on me. I did not add West, because yes, the take is the division. There's no way to be sitting here arguing that he's the best center fielder in the league. That'd be crazy. But Julio Rodriguez is his biggest competition, right? Let's talk about some of these other teams. All right, on the count of three, we're all going to say whoever's played the most games for the Sacramento A's, because everybody knows this, right? 1, 2, 3, Denzel Clark. We all said it as a group because everyone knows the answer to that question, right? It was Denzel Clark. Everyone knows him. He's batting .210 with 3 home runs and 8 RBIs. He's played the most games for the Athletics in center field. Go figure, okay? For the Rangers, I was actually surprised that it's Evan Carter. I know Evan Carter is their like outfielder of the future. I just didn't think he's played that many games because he's been injured. But yeah, he's batting .269.
Cardboard Carter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly as the you and the Halo Boys had said that game.
That was beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, 18 RBIs for Carter. Is he going to be a phenomenal player one day? Absolutely. I don't think anyone's going to argue that. He's going to be a great player. I would have loved if he was here. And then for the Astros, ready on the count of 3, who's played the most game for them in center field? Once again, we all know this, right? 1, 2, 3, Jake Mayers. Oh, well, we all said it at the same time. Everyone knew that. Batting .308, 3 home runs, 21 RBIs, 89 hits. Okay, so all these jokes aside, it's literally just between Julio Rodriguez and Joe Adell. Now, you already dissected the numbers, but the biggest thing that I want to bring up, Julio Rodriguez is getting paid significantly more money than Joe Adell, right? And the reason why that factors in, because this is a business, right? You're paying Joe Adell league minimum, and he's still going to be league minimum for, I think, 1 more year before he hits arbitration. I could be wrong about that. But either way, he still has like 3 or 4 more years in the organization. So with that being said, we're talking about a guy that's getting league minimum or pretty damn near close to it for the next couple years. And Julio Rodriguez, who's making, where did it go? I think it's like $18 million this year. $17.4 million. All the way until, actually, no, sorry, he's making $20.2 million. He'll be making that until 2030 when he falls down to 18. What a poor soul. What a poor soul. Gosh, well, $2 million decrease. I'll take those $2 million as tribute. But, yeah, all this to say, Joe Adell is maintaining pace with one of the most recognizable center fielders in Major League Baseball. Because say what you want about Julio Rodriguez and what's been a little bit of a lackluster year for him, he is one of the most recognizable center fielders in the game, right? Well-respected, well-known. He's a fun player. It's hard to dislike the guy, right? I mean, he's, from every indication we have, a hard worker. And I personally don't have anything against him other than the fact that he's in our division. But Joe Adell, 292 at-bats, batting .243, that's not bad, especially given where he was. There was a time where he was batting, like, what, in the 100s. Now he's up to 19 home runs. But his average is still decent because he was flirting with 260 for a little while. He went a little bit of a skid the last couple of games before the All-Star break. But all this to say, Joe Adell's proving that he can be a major league hitter. He hasn't had too many egregious errors in center field lately. Is he perfect out there? No. Would I like to see him continue to take a step forward? Yes, because last year he was so good defensively in right field. So we know that he can play solid defense. We know he's athletic. We know he's fast. And we know he has the range out there. And sometimes I think that's kind of what hurts him in a way, right? It was almost like Mike Trout, same kind of thing. When he was at the peak of his career defensively, never won any Gold Gloves, but he made a lot of spectacular catches. And the problem with Trout was a lot of the times his athleticism is what got him in trouble. And the same kind of thing with Adell. Sometimes you're too athletic for your own good. You know what I mean? Because a play that some guy like Taylor Ward would have never tried to make, which is why Taylor Ward's not on any SportsCenter top 10s. Joe Adell's on a lot of not top 10s, and he's also on a lot of top 10s because he makes some really impressive plays. And then he has some other plays where he's jumping at the wall and the ball bounces right out of his glove. Yeah, what you're not talking about is the fact that the Angel Stadium wall is like 10 feet in center field. So this guy had the athleticism for half his body to go over the fence. Just couldn't hold on to the ball. So, you know, that's what I mean by his athleticism gets him in trouble. But this is a long-winded answer to me saying I do think that all things considered, the money, the numbers, Joe Adell is currently right now the best center fielder in the division. I don't think that's a bad take. You know, would I take Julio Rodriguez over Joe Adell long term in my center field? Maybe, just because he's kind of proven it a little bit longer. But also, all things considered, Joe Adell still has a lot of his career ahead of him, as does J-Rod. And personally, both of these guys are on the same level playing field when it comes to athleticism. They're both athletic guys. They're both solid defenders. Joe Adell makes a couple of more simple, kind of silly mistakes. That's kind of the difference. But how much of that has to do with him getting first real reps at center field this year? Because in the past, yeah, he started a couple games in center field, but he's been a corner outfielder, right? Center fielder coming up was always Brandon Marsh before he got traded.
Yeah, let's not forget too that these guys are literally a year apart. Joe Adell being 26 years old, and then Julio Rodriguez being 25. So you got to take that into consideration too. They're ideally similar players in age, and
J-Rod's 24.
Well, he's going to be 25. He's going to be 25. So that's why. I saw the year 2000. Made me feel old, by the way. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, they're pretty much neck and neck guys. But it all came down to who had the more exposure and who had the more playing time. Of course, when Rodriguez came up, the Mariners knew that this was their future, and he is their future. I mean, he's kind of like they're basically trying to Ken Griffey Jr. him and like making sure he doesn't go away, but they're hoping for that he has a much healthier career. Joe Adell has had a somewhat healthy career. Yeah, he's had injuries here and there, but you look at this year. I mean, he hasn't had much downtime. He's been playing almost every day. Rodriguez, the same thing. So as long as Adell can stay healthy, he is going to be a top center fielder in our respective division. I think it's just and the athleticism is also, like you said, coming into effect. Yeah, it does get you in trouble. You made a good point. But at the end of the day, those two are just going to be fighting for who's the top in their division, and the other guys too. I mean, there's a lot of respect to them. But they're a lot younger than them. Evan Carter is, I think, the youngest on the squad, and the oldest center fielder is actually Jake Myers. Jake Myers is 29 years old. Evan Carter 22, and Denzel Clark is 25. So, yeah, these are young cats in this division for sure. Evan Carter will be a top center fielder somewhere in the future. Not right now, obviously, because he's super, super young. Jake Myers, well, I'll tell you this though. Jake Myers has his opportunities because Chas McCormick isn't there. You see, Chas McCormick, if he's on the Astros roster, he's probably the top center fielder of the division because he can track balls down, he can hit basically, and plus he's on the Astros, so he gets a lot more exposure, especially when you're playing for a dynasty type of team and you're playing for a juggernaut of a team. Yeah, you're going to get recognized for sure. Denzel Clark, well, yeah, he made one of the greatest catches this season. I don't know. I don't think it's the best. I think Dalton Varsho still has the best catch this year because whatever he did, nobody can repeat that. There's a lot of guys like the play that Denzel Clark made that can make that. Mike Trout did something similar to that. So, yeah, Denzel Clark, he is an athletic center fielder. He just struggles hitting. I mean, yeah, this is rookie season. This is his rookie season, obviously. So that really separates him from a lot of them. But he's also on the A's, so the A's really don't have a true center fielder. They don't have a franchise center fielder yet. He could be that guy. Of course, there's a lot of other players that they have that are going to be franchise players in the future. Jacob Wilson is probably the front runner. Nick Kurtz is also going to be the franchise guy as well. Hey, Vegas can't come any sooner, right? Because once they get to Vegas, I guarantee you, John Fisher is going to have the money. He's not going to be cheap anymore. He's going to try to lock up those players for sure because they're going to rack up a lot of money once that move to Vegas comes in. Because not only are Vegas fans, I mean, there might be some Vegas residents that are going to convert as A's fans because a lot of them did for the Raiders for sure. But guess what? When the Angels come to Vegas, guarantee we're going to be there. I'm already saving up money for that trip. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, I'll be there.
But at the end of the day, Joe Adell, just keep it up, man. I mean, this is your time to shine. Next year for sure is going to be your time to shine, because I think next year is like his arbitration year, so he really has to light it up and say, like, look, is he going to be the guy that's going to say, you know what, I want to get paid? Maybe, maybe not. But I know for sure that he does want to win, just like every other team. And he's growing a bond with all these young players, with Neto, with Ohapi, now with Christian Moore in the mix, Noah Shonawell. He knows that he wants to be a part of this. He's been with Mike Trout. He knows how hungry Mike Trout is. And Joe Adell is just as hungry. And especially when you watch him play and the energy he puts in, I love seeing how pumped up he gets. Even if it's just like a measly base hit that brought in Trout, and it gave us like a 2-0 lead in like the 4th inning. I like the energy he brings, because he's like, look, yeah, I just brought 1 run, but guess what? Let's get more. You know, I'm on base. Guess what? Bring me in. And we need more of that. And I just love that he's showing it. And I can't wait till the next game I see, because if he can keep that hot streak going, I hope that the All-Star break does not affect him. I hope he was actually working. Maybe he got some rest in just to ice the body a little bit, but maybe he was taking a little bit lighter cuts in the cage, but still like going through the motions, because that's important during that All-Star break for sure. Are you capable of keeping the motions flowing, or are you just gonna take it super, super easy and just do nothing? I hope it's the former.
Well, I mean, chances are the Angels are back together as of today, right? Because they're going to be in Philadelphia. Today when you guys are listening to this, Friday. So we'll definitely see. It should be a fun second half of the season, right? This team has not been unbearable more often than they haven't been. I mean, they're still essentially in the thick of it. We're obviously going to talk a little bit more as we get closer to the trade deadline. You know, are we buyers? Are we sellers? I mean, there's chances are that's what next week's episode is going to be about, right? Because that'll be the last episode before the trade deadline. We will have an episode that we'd record the night of the trade deadline, but by then, I mean, there'll probably be a different hot take. So, stay tuned for that. But, the All-Star game has come and gone. It was fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And, that's going to do it for this week's episode. Vince, unless you have anything else to say.
I will say a side hot take. Speaking of All-Star games, I believe we will host an All-Star game after 2028. And the reason why, OC Vibe is going to be opened up, which is the new entertainment area around Honda Center where the Ducks play. That's going to give us a lot of points. I think MLB is going to see that and say, oh, this will help us make money. A lot of fans will go there. Number 2, the Olympics are happening in 28. Everything like Honda Center is actually going to host volleyball. It is confirmed. So right after the Olympics, then the Angels can probably make a bid for an All-Star game. If I was to make a prediction right now, I say by 2030, the All-Star game will be coming back to Anaheim. That's a hot take. We're not going to fully go into it, but that's just a side one. And then one more thing, I do want to give a shout out to 714 Tickets. Of course, we bring them up every week because thanks to them, I am going to see George Strait at SoFi Stadium this Saturday with Chris Stapleton and Little Big Town opening. I grew up on George Strait. In fact, the first country music artist I listened to was George Strait, thanks to the movie Pure Country. I listened to his album. I would play that forever on repeat. And ever since I listened to him, I fell in love with country music, and nothing's better. I'm looking forward to it Saturday night at SoFi, hearing the king of country music. But thank you 714 Tickets for the discount code and being able to get those tickets. They are going to be on the floor, so they got me a great deal. So thank you.
There you go. See, we say it all the time. It doesn't just have to be for Angels games. Literally for almost any event possible. Look it up. Give it a shot. Use that code HITI. You get 10% off. You get 5% back in future purchases. I've used that 5% back many, many times to essentially get myself free tickets. You know what I mean? You pay for the fees. It won't let you completely zero it out, but also you can't complain about free money because that's what it is, right? They're giving you 5% back. So use the code HITI. Let 714 Tickets know we sent you. We worked out that deal for you guys, and we do know that you guys use it because Ron Holt tells us all the time, which is why he's very generous with us. Whenever Todd asks for something, or a lot of the times Todd will give out tickets, he'll just message fans and listeners and people who participate in the post-game shows, and he gives them tickets, courtesy of Ron Holt, all the time. So thank you to them. Really, really, really. Thank you to 714 Tickets. Thank you to Brewheim. Thank you to OC Dugout. And, of course, Max Market Pros. On behalf of all of us here at Halos in the Infield, thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to give us a 5-star review. Tell your friends. Like us on all the social media. And follow Vince at Angels_Cowboy. Thank you. Have a great night. And y'all be good now. You hear?
From Anaheim down to the Texas plains, hot takes flying right